Hi, I'm Kathy Giordano, and today we're going to be talking about how to tell a child that he or she has Tourette syndrome. And I'm here today with Jen Stenger.
Hi, I'm Jen Stenger, school counselor in a high school setting. I have a PhD in education, and I also have Tourette.
Jen, can you tell us a little bit about how you would tell a child that he or she has Tourette syndrome?
First, I'd like to talk about why it's important for a parent to explain to his or her to the child. I've heard before that a parent doesn't want to tell, or they don't even think that the child knows that they have Tourette. And I can almost guarantee that a child knows that he or she has something that's different than his peers. Sometimes it is almost more difficult for the parents to come to terms with that. I remember my mom always used to say, if I could take this away from you and so I had it and you didn't have it, I would. And we know that all parents want the best for their children, and they don't want to see their children struggling. But what is so important for the parents to know is that it's going to be so much better for a child when he or she knows why they're doing what they are doing. When they have an answer, when they have a reason, an explanation, it's almost like a weight is lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah, and I agree totally. Can you expand a little more on examples of how you might want to tell your child?
For smaller children, just starting off saying, you are unique, you are special, you do something a little different than everybody else. Relating to them so that they know what's going on. Saying, do you ever notice that you have little movements, or you make noises that your brother or sister doesn't make, You ever wonder why that is? And sometimes just talking to the kids about, you feel the need to do that almost like a sneeze. Or I always compare it to a mosquito bite. Everybody has a mosquito bite, and you think, once I scratch it, I feel a little better, and that alleviate that desire goes away. Try to explain it on a level like that. It always depends on the age of the child, of how much information to give, but just to understand, this is how you are. This is normal. When you're gonna make that noise, when you're gonna make that movement, and that is okay. Middle school and high school, at that point, I'm just more factual, talking about the medical definition of Tourette syndrome and why they do the things they do. From a medical standpoint, at this point, that way they know what it is so that they can learn how to advocate for themselves.
Why is it important in middle school and high school that children know about their diagnoses?
Especially at the age of middle school, that is the time when students will need to be advocating for themselves. A child will need to speak up. Usually in elementary school, it's a smaller setting, usually one teacher, and everybody's gonna be familiar with their diagnosis. This is not the case in middle school and high school, where you'll have multiple teachers, depending on how big your campus is, all 4 years of high school. So it's very important for a child to understand why he has the condition that he has, and to be able to be knowledgeable about it, to advocate for himself and educate others. Not only does that work well in the classroom setting for receiving appropriate accommodations, education is key. If a child can say to somebody, hey, I have a medical condition, this is why I do the things I do. Children, usually of all ages, usually are very receptive to that. Once they understand why his friend is doing the tic that he has, they tend to take it in stride, and they're okay with it. I've had children say to me, I didn't know that so-and-so had Tourette syndrome. I'd never make fun of so-and-so in a wheelchair, or my friend that's diabetic and has to go get a shot at lunch every day before he goes to the cafeteria. I would never make fun of him, so why would I make fun of her? But sometimes when they don't know why they have that tic, they just think they might be making the same noise over and over again, so they don't have that understanding. Children from elementary school to high school, once they know something, they take it in stride. It's no longer an issue. So that's why I feel like it's so important for parents to let their child know that they have a diagnosis, so they can explain to others and advocate for themselves.
Right, I totally agree, and it's been our experience that there's less bullying when other children know why a person is doing a tic or making a noise.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like knowledge is power. Right. When you know why, I mean, it changes the game for things. I also feel like for the student, a weight is lifted off their shoulder. They don't feel the pressure to maybe mask their tics.
Right.
If everybody knows it's okay to have a tic if they're stressed, and to get it out of their system, and everybody knows what it is. So they don't have to worry about it.
Right, which reduces everybody's anxiety.
Absolutely.
Do you ever think it's a good idea to let the child know that there are other people, even famous people, people in sports and music and TV that have Tourette?
I think that makes a world of difference. And that's what all children need. They need to see that people are successful, regardless of what career they choose, and that they can still do anything that they want to do. So I think having those role models is great.
Thank you for joining us today, and if you would like more resources, check our website or even give us a call and you can talk to us about how to tell your child that you have Tourette syndrome.
Thank you for joining us.